Hello, and welcome to Economics Online. In our lecture today, we will be answering a rather simple question. What are negative externalities of production? To begin with, we will have to define the terms that we will talk about in this lecture. These terms are market failures, externalities, common access resources, sustainability. Obviously, we will talk about market failures first. Market failures happen when efficiency isn't maximized in a market. This means that all resources being used to create goods aren't actually allocated to their full potential. That means that both producer and consumer surplus, which can be combined and defined as community surplus, are not at maximum. When community surplus isn't at maximum, a market failure occurs. Externalities occur when either the production or the consumption of a good has an effect on a third party. Externalities can either be positive or negative. When externalities are negative, that means a third party is harmed or damaged by the consumption or the production of the good. When the externality is positive, that means welfare that can be received from the production or consumption of the good isn't being received to the fullest. Common access resources are typically natural resources that are usually excluded from the public from the fear of depletion. However, it is hard to exclude common access resources, as they are usually public property. The depletion of common access resources causes market failure. Sustainability exists when the needs of consumption of the current generation are met without undermining future generations. Market failures happen because of four reasons, one of them being the existence of externalities. Externalities can be categorized into four. 1. Positive externality of consumption. 2. Positive externality of production. 3. Negative externality of consumption. 4. Negative externality of production. As stated before, we will focus on number 4, negative externalities of production. Negative externalities of production happen when the production of a good creates external costs for others. Negative externalities of production are usually associated with companies that cause damage to the environment, such as chemical companies that don't dispose of their waste properly. This is because the damage done to the environment by the company affects nearby areas. The damage done to the environment usually has major effects on common access resources, and therefore threatens sustainability. For example, industrial waste from a coal factory can cause water pollution in nearby rivers, which some people might use as a water source, which may cause external costs for people who get sick because of the unclean water. This external cost causes the marginal social cost, the MSC, to be higher than the marginal private cost, the MPC. The difference between the costs show that there is an external cost for society, meaning people other than the producers. This means that the socially efficient level of production show equilibrium isn't reached. The difference between the actual output and the socially efficient level creates the welfare loss as illustrated by the diagram. The producers produce at Q1 instead of QE, the socially efficient output, which causes a market failure. To fix the failure that has appeared, the government must intervene. There are three ways to fix the problem at hand. 1. Taxing. Useful as it generates tax revenue and punishes companies that harm the environment. However, it isn't very efficient as it is difficult to identify which firm causes how much pollution. 2. Legislations. The government can pass laws that set emission limits for firms. However, policing standards can have additional costs on the government. On the other hand, it is also effective as the government keeps companies under direct supervision. 3. Cap and trade systems. This system is basically a system of tradable emission permits. The government sets national targets to reduce emissions and encourage firms to also reduce emissions. Companies have to buy, sell, or trade to acquire permits that allow them to create a limited amount of pollution. However, this solution does not reduce pollution in any way.